thought, wow, I can't wait to see him in another movie. This guy's awesome. He looks so cool. And, well, we all know what happened afterwards. Welcome to the Fangirl Report. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Fangirl Report. Please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. So today we're talking about what I think were the best moments in the first Thor film. Now, full disclosure, Thor is one of my least favorite trilogies in the entire MCU. I'm not a huge fan. I love Thor Ragnarok, but 1 out of 3 just doesn't cut it. However, as I rewatched this film, I actually liked it a lot more than my memory implied that I did. So, here we go. Now, these are in no particular order, but I'm going to start off with basically every single Darcy Lewis moment. From tasing Thor, to taking that picture of him in the diner, to complaining that S.H.I.E.L.D. took her iPod along with all of Jane's equipment. Darcy Lewis is a fantastic character. I adore her so much. I'm so excited she's coming back on one of the Disney Plus shows. Which one it is escaping my mind right now. I'm pretty sure it's WandaVision, but I might be wrong. But she's such a great character. I love her so much. Every scene with her is fantastic. Next on the list, we have Thor versus S.H.I.E.L.D. In this sequence, we see that, yes, he was a warrior and Asgardian, the god of thunder. He doesn't need his powers or his enhanced strength to fight. He knows what he's doing. He's trained. He took on all those S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to the point where Coulson tells him he made the agents look like mall cops. And kind of tied into that is Hawkeye's intro. I remember the first time I saw this movie and I saw that scene with Hawkeye, I thought, wow, I can't wait to see him in another movie. This guy's awesome. He looks so cool. And, well, we all know what happened afterwards. But basically, every one of his lines were great. I think he says, are you going to send more guys for him to beat up? He also says, you better call it Coulson because I'm starting to root for him. It's actually, in my opinion, one of the better character intros in the MCU, but we all know how that turned out. Next on the list is Loki and Odin. The scene where Loki finds out that he's actually a frost giant. It's just really great acting from Tom Hiddleston. He does an excellent job in that performance. And it's a scene that explains why Loki feels the way that he does, why he's always felt like an outsider, like he comes in second place to Thor. It's because in Odin's eyes he did. You know, Odin can say all he wants that Loki's his son and that he loves him, but actions speak louder than words. That was the scene that really showed us that Odin couldn't be trusted as a reliable source of information, and that he was somebody who was willing to do basically whatever for the good of Asgard. Although what he defines as good is questionable, in my opinion. And it's what sets Loki off on his new path as villain turned anti-hero turned hero, perhaps? I read somewhere, I think it was on Tumblr, where somebody did the math to basically find the equivalent of Asgardian years to human years. And that based on how old Loki was, however thousands of years, it was the equivalent to being, I think it was like a 17-year-old. So yeah, he's the body of a man, but yet he's lived as long as a 17-year-old human, you know, the equivalent of a 17-year-old human. And he found out that he's not only adopted, but of a completely different species that the Asgardians look down on. And, you know, it makes you feel bad for him. But then you have the Thor versus Loki fight scene. While some of the fighting leaves a little bit to be desired, there's a point where they're like flying at each other across a room and it looks a little bad. It's not the fight sequence that got to me, it was the dialogue and the idea that, you know, these are brothers. Maybe to Loki, he just doesn't feel that connection anymore, or he does and he's just trying to cut it off, which is even more sad. But in Thor's eyes, because he's our hero, he's our protagonist, that's his brother. He doesn't want to kill him, he doesn't want to fight him, but he knows that Loki's been doing some bad things that cannot be allowed. And Thor has to do his duty to Asgard and to the 9 realms to stop Loki and all of his plans. I will say I do wish we could have seen more of Frigga's reaction when Thor revealed what Loki had been doing. You know, we come to realize later on in the MCU that Frigga and Loki had a much closer relationship than Loki and Odin did. And we find out that she knew Loki was a frost giant and she still loved and accepted him all the same regardless. So I think being able to see more of her reaction to that would have been a nice touch, but that's just me. So do you agree with my picks, or do you think there was something I missed? Please comment or review to let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you. Bye, guys.